o'clock.
Greetings. This is Thankful Thursday. It is another day with Shemsu-t and Master Force. We have an amazing show for you today, and I'm so excited about our guests and what we're going to be talking about. But first, I want to talk about our female solution. Hold on. Here we go.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
The female solution. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today with our guests. And we're excited because we really do want to break into the conversation that's happening in our community. Now, I don't know if you all realize that we're in a new moon with Libra right now, right? And it's coming in at the beginning of the Scorpio season. So there's a lot of energy about relationships and the chaos of relationships, and you have Pluto in there. So really, I want everyone to stay in your breath as much as you possibly can. I mean, breathe to center, okay? Because there will be things that will tend to make you want to feel really hyper and really excited, but don't act on that. Just breathe. Okay, so enough about the cosmic weather, all right? I'm going to be adding our guests, and you're going to be so excited to hear about my friend, my partner, and so many things. Okay, come on in, Ausar. Hello. Can you hear me, Ausar? Can you hear me? Greg, good morning. Oh, are you having mic problems over there? Okay, let's see what we could do to assist him. Let's see what happened here. Hold on, guests. We will see what we can do here. We were talking to you a few minutes ago. So let us see what we can figure out what is happening.
So
did you check your mute? Make sure you didn't mute yourself out.
I didn't do anything. You guys were talking. I could hear you. Then all of a sudden, you guys.
Okay, but just no. Okay, just fix your sound. It's your sound. It's not us.
I did hit unmute.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt,
part of the soulful
Ahlan wa
Chicago
sahlan.
Book Fair.
In Ghana,
Come.
Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In
I apologize. We're having technical difficulties this morning with our guest, and sometimes that happens. We've had some technical or technology breakdowns in a lot of different sectors. And again, that's a part of what's happening in our cosmic world. So I can still go ahead and begin this conversation because we really do want to talk about soul-centered work. Now, soul-centered work is not a new concept. However, many of us have gotten away from it because we've put a higher value into how much money we make. And I'm not saying don't make money, because we're gonna make some money. That's really it, right? That's part of the work. However, what we want to do is make sure that we're balancing ourselves from the inside. Do you realize that most of us are codependent on a system that is literally taking us out right now? Yeah. But we allowed ourselves to get set up like that. So, what do we need to do? We need to go back to the basics. Now, before we actually get into that, I want to talk a little bit about some statistics. Okay. So, I want to talk to you about what it looks like to actually be inside of this conversation where we have 300,000 300,000 African American Black FBA women that were released from the job market from May to August of this year. Now, I don't know if your household was directly affected, but that affects our entire community. Everyone is affected when we actually have this type of injury, because it's a financial injury, right? It's a financial injury when this happens. So if we actually have a breakdown in the family because of our women, then we're going to have a huge problem. Okay. So, what I'd like to do is to give you just another look at how this is going to affect us, right? Black women make up about 18.5% of the federal government. Okay. And if that is the case, then recently those cuts to those agencies in the Department of Education, Housing and Urban Development, and Health and Human Services, all of those positions were let go. And all of them were pretty much manned by high level Black women. Okay. So now we have the tariffs happening, we have SNAP going away, we have people try. So, what is this all doing for us? This is actually giving us another opportunity to reconnect to what? Our soul. Reconnect to our soul. So if the employment rate, right, is for unemployment is 6.7%, right? What does that mean? Wait now, and I don't even trust those numbers. I don't trust those numbers. You know why I don't trust those numbers? Because they really do lower them when they want to put the statistics out. Okay, they really do lower. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have? Let me see. Did Ausar fix his? Let's see. It looked like he may have fixed his sound. No, not yet. Okay. So when they want to kind of keep the numbers so that we don't get too excited about it, they actually fluff them or lower them. So if the unemployment rate is 6.7%, for Black women, the unemployment rate for white women is 3.7%. Now, most white women don't have single family homes. Now, a lot of them do, but in our community, predominantly, our families are headed by women. So that statistic by itself, okay, that statistic by itself really does have a huge impact on how our economy is affected. Okay, wait a minute. So I think my guest is going to be able to join me. Let me see what's happening here. Hello, Ausar, can you hear me now?
I see you, but I don't hear you.
Oh, well, why can't you still hear me? Asada, is there did I
My
mute
camera is
something on
my
my
camera
side?
and mic is live.
Okay. So you still can't hear me, Ausar? He can't hear me, Asada.
Hey friends, I'm here working in the background. We're gonna work on. We're gonna see what it is. I think he's on a computer, so I'm gonna try to give him some instructions on coming back. But you do well with your slides. We'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Okay, so let me continue with this conversation. So now we want to have a conversation about DEI because DEI, just like affirmative action, they're all a trap. And I want us to understand that that is a trap. Why is it a trap? The fact that someone is going to tell you that you need their help is already insinuating that you're not good enough to do it on your own. That is a seed planted for inferiority. And because we have been trained to think that we are less than, we're always waving our hand for help me, help me. We don't need to be going help on the outside. We need to go help on the inside, where the soul, everything that we require is indeed inside of us. Okay? It is inside of us. So when we're talking about all the spiritual power of women, why aren't we using it? Why aren't we using that power? And our power is not based in going to church. Our power is based in really trusting, honing into the energy of what it is to know God. We want to know God. So when you look at the DEI and the statistic that they use, the rollback of DEI remove systems for accountability, mentorship, and equitable hiring and promotion. So by design, your supervisor, your boss, all of them are probably white. Will they mentor you to a higher position? Probably not, but they will mentor the people who look like them, who know them. And we don't blame them for that because, Master Force, we have predominantly Black coaches out of that 500. We are predominant because we want to do what? We want to support our community. We want to support those people that look like us. So we want to allow people, if they want to support their own kind, there's not a problem with that. Okay, we're actually going to give them the opportunity to do that, but we do not want to have us affected by it. Okay, so now I want you to really answer the question for yourself. How did you get caught up in the conversation of DEI, affirmative action, in thinking that you need help from people that really don't want to help us? And I don't think they don't want to help us because they're unkind, but they really are focused on their own families, their own communities, their own businesses, which is what we need to do. If we had 300,000 Black women working in corporate America, building those corporations in those high powered seats, VPs, CEOs, that companies that did not belong to them. And then as soon as the going gets rough, they're released. We're released first. And we're usually the last ones hired. Okay. So now that you've asked yourself that question, I want you to know that Black women tend to be out of work longer than any other sector. Okay? Any other sector. They tend to be out of work. So that means this is not going away fast. The conclusion, the current wave of layoffs is not affecting all demographics equally. For Black Americans, it is exacerbating existing economic disparities through targeted cuts. Now, we may feel like this is an attack, but I want you to understand something. This could possibly be moving us where? Back into our center of power. Okay? So if we're being moved back into our center of power, then this is the conversation that we want to have with you today. We want to actually talk about what does it mean to do soul-centered work so that we're not affected by the things going on in our community. Okay? So let me go to a commercial break and I'll be right back. Thank you.
Soulful Chicago. Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair.
Hey family, this is Charles Humphrey of MCH Publishing, and I'm here with Ausar, and we at the Soulful Chicago Book what?
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, slamming.
We getting down in Hyde Park. Just run it down, my sister. Just tell us, for the people, a little bit about what we're doing here today and why.
You know, this is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, and this month is very important. I feel like we don't give it the type of recognition that it needs, but beyond that, I do all things literary, and we have so many ancestors that have taken a tradition of writing and done great things. Well, we have those of us that are carrying on that tradition, and nobody knows about them until now. So the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is allowing us to tell our stories according to ourselves for our own benefit. And it's just beautiful. I mean, she could have been here today if you wasn't here, but if you were, oh, it's been amazing. People came in consistently, children, and we have children's authors, we have nonfiction authors, we have fiction authors. This is really good. And it's about taking our own power in our own hands and doing what we do on the literary tip, though.
Right.
I gotta work, but I can't help it. Everything going to school. Not just about bring my African shit like this. Bring in the African shit.
Thank you. Welcome back. And I believe we are ready to really talk to our host and have a nice show. Let's see. Oh, Sarah, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Oh, I hear an echo. Is that on my side or is that on your side?
Let me see here.
We have two mics on someplace.
Just turn off one of those other devices, the phone or the other device, computer, and then it should be no echo. Bye.
So, Ausar, I want to start off introducing you because we didn't get a chance to do that. Are we there yet?
I'm here.
Turn off your phone or your computer mic, one of the mics.
How's that?
Did you turn the mic off?
I don't know where that's coming from.
You gotta turn the mic off. That's the only reason you're getting feedback is because two mics are on. There? Can you hear me, Ausar? Now I can't hear you. So whatever, you turned off both mics. You only needed to turn off one.
The heart of the Soulful Chicago Book Fair comes the Soulful Book Fair Foundation. The Soulful Book Fair Foundation provides programming, training, and literary opportunities for Black-themed writers and their readers, while increasing exposure and access to culturally relevant literature in Black communities. The Soulful Book Fair Foundation is built on 4 pillars. Enhance the Black literary marketplace, bolster training and marketing for Black writers, archive Black stories and literary experiences, and foster writing and telling of stories through Black youth. Our signature book fairs have showcased over 350 authors. Still, there are not enough opportunities for Black writers to promote their work. The Soulful Book Fair Foundation helps to enhance the Black literary marketplace and provide avenues for authors to gain exposure and sell their books. Everyone has a story to tell. For those people courageous enough to become authors, we help guide them through the process of building a business around their books. From effectively presenting at events, to maximizing social media,
learning what Snapchat is, learning what Instagram is, how to use it, how to market to it. So I think that is what made me, I didn't sell out. I think I brought about 80 books and I sold like 68. So I think that was really, really good.
we offer training and marketing to help Black authors so they can confidently develop fruitful literary careers. Understanding the past allows one to map out the future. We preserve the stories behind the storytelling of activists, writers, leaders, and youth in the Black community through state-of-the-art videography, produced by the media partner of the Soulful Book Fair Foundation, OM Productions International. We transform history into our story.
I purchased my first property at 19 years old, and I have done more than 20 deals since then. I can teach you too. Come visit me at the Soulful Chicago Book Fair, July.
Today do not read and write as much as The Soulful Book Fair Foundation creates opportunities for young people to share their stories through special workshops.
In our African tradition, when you have special programs like this, you usually or always begin it with a libation before our Shema Denmark BC. He was recruiting enslaved Africans for 5 years in Charleston, South Carolina, to take over that city.
Hey, Black child, be what you can be. Learn what you must learn. Do what you can do. And tomorrow, your nation will be where you want it to be.
Okay, listen, I apologize. In really technical things, I can't even tell you how we are really underneath whatever that is. So we actually are going to continue with this conversation. So let me bring Greg to the stage. Are you there, Sarah? Can you hear me? And you have to speak so I can make sure I can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Well, I can hear you, but I still hear an echo.
I have no clue what is going on because I have one mic up and
okay, that's okay. I want to go ahead and see if we can start the conversation and get through some of it. Okay. So I want people to know who you are. So can you give us a brief introduction of who you are and what you do, and then talk a little bit about how we came to know each other?
Okay. Let me see here. So I'm Greg Stanton, also known as Ausar, and I'm going to cut this down to see if that works. I'm also known as Ausar. I am a spiritual life coach. I specialize in a number of things, spirituality, particularly helping people transition from belief systems that no longer serve them. And also, I'm in the workforce development career services. I've been doing that for probably 30 years. So those are the two dimensions that I'm actually operating from right now.
And then, well, you got to tell us a little bit about your past.
Okay, good. So I started this path. Actually, I got my master's in counseling psychology back in '87. Immediately after that, I came across your path, and I began this journey of self-exploration through Master Force coaching. So over the last 30 years, we've been together, and not only as I've been trained inside of the Master Force coaching system, but our relationship as two souls that have met at this distinct time. And so we've just been alongside of one another, almost like soul twins. And it's interesting that we find ourselves in this same space. Recently in a conversation, it became clear that we're kind of doing the same kind of work in the career services.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? Because part of the beauty about our relationship is that we met accidentally over 30 years ago at Itango when you called the store, the health food store, and you were making an inquiry about something that you needed. And I happened to answer the phone. And then we met up so that I could provide what you were looking for. And we have been together ever since. And then to find out that we were born on the same day.
Yes.
Talk about divine, right? And I remember part of the journey, you and your mate at the time, Tony, you actually officiated my wedding. Right? You officiated my wedding.
That's correct. I was just chuckling at the echo goes along with him being a spiritual leader. Living in two dimensions, right?
Thank you, Female
Yeah,
Solution.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I had the distinct pleasure of officiating, being the celebrant for the wedding, which was such a wonderful experience. At that time, it introduced our local community to more of a comedic science because your wedding was really African centered and spiritual in nature. And it was just a beautiful event. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderful, wonderful. And so now here we are 30 years later, and both of us happen to work in the field of job coaches. We're both executive job coaches for different sectors. So in your work, as working with people, tell us a little bit about what your environment looks like as a job coach.
So I do it on two levels. One level, I'm with the Veterans Administration. I am the Community Employment Coordinator. My primary role there is I speak with hundreds of employers throughout the year to identify what their talent needs are. I bring that back to the VA's employment services, and then we go to work. We work with veterans and assisting them in finding competitive employment. And part of the conversation that I have with my veterans is not just gaining employment, because usually the initial question is, what type of employment are you looking for? And their response is, I'll take anything. And then that's when we begin to unpack that when you're looking for anything, you miss everything. So I try to get my clients to really look specifically at what it is they desire to do. And oftentimes they rule themselves out for the desired employment because they are looking at the barriers that are present in their lives, perhaps transportation, justice involvement, coming out of having worked for a season, returning to work. So there's a number of things. So in this work that I'm doing with the veterans is I'm really getting them prepared for employment, and then at the same time getting them in front of employers.
And now when you're working in that capacity, as far as some of the mindsets that you're dealing with, what are people dealing with when they're coming in with you? Is it a lot of depression? Are they hopeless? Or what? Tell me some of the things that you encounter when people are coming in to actually seek help.
Okay, so when I see people, the major thing is, like you said, it's a mindset. Whatever they're dealing with in life, they automatically see that as a barrier that needs to be overcome, instead of looking at those barriers, their perceived barriers, as part of their transformation. Because I have to let them know that many times what you see, the employer doesn't see and doesn't necessarily need to see. But if you show up with the mindset of, because of my current situation, I'm not the ideal candidate, you rule yourself out. And I like to call that the self-fulfilling prophecy of employment.
The self-fulfilling prophecy of employment. Now, how do you actually put that inside of the conversation that we're having today about soul-centered work? What is the solution that we want to provide? Because I really think that there's a silver lining here. There's something happening for us on a spiritual level. And although it seems very chaotic right now, what would you think? What do you think is actually going on, in your opinion?
I think we're being shifted from work as survival, from the place of I work to get substance, instead of I bring substance to my work. And so the big issue that is the shift that is going on. Work is changing, and technology is behind that. And it's given us the opportunity not only to capture more time and do things more efficiently, but it's making space for us to show up and be ourselves, to be creative. And so there's this shift of paradigm from I go to work solely to get paid, versus realizing work is part of my path of what I've chosen to come here to do, to be, and experience.
Now, suppose people because you say it's my path, suppose people are not in the conversation of being spiritual, religious. Many people, I have a couple of clients and coaches who really don't, have a conversation about God. How do we actually have that conversation and it's not about being a non-believer, it's just that they don't have an allegiance to a God. So how do you talk to them?
Well, I don't assume. I go into the conversation with, part of my assessment is, do you have a spiritual path? Do you have a religious practice? And I put it just like that, and I let them define. And usually they will begin to set the stage that I operate from. If they say they're a spiritual being, I may say, can you tell me kind of what that looks like? And they'll say, like, I just believe what shows up in my life is what I need to be dealing with, that the universe is friendly towards me. And so we pull that into the process of employment. I'll ask, how does employment fit in that conversation? And there I want to find out. They may say, well, it really doesn't, because there's two different dimensions. Then that's where the work starts, to realize that you can't separate yourself like that, that you work on this side and spiritual on this side. They really work together, because your work helps you evolve in your spiritual essence, and your spiritual essence is comes forth with more clarity when you incorporate it in your work.
Yes. And when we do our work in Masterforce, we're always talking about, what is that mirror? What is the mirror that's in front of you? So right now, the mirror that's in front of us, with 300,000 Black women being released from corporate America, the mirror that's in front of us, and I love what you said, we're being taught to move away from survival. So we already know that there is money in our community, but what do we need to focus on to get back to our own stability if we're talking about soul-centered work?
So the focus has to be present to what is showing up right now, not as if something has happened to me, I was laid off, but keeping that part of your divine conversation, that I wasn't necessarily laid off, but I've come to a new intersection where something old is ending and something new is beginning. But here's the danger that most people, when they're in that middle phase of I just been laid off, or I just decided to terminate my employment, they want to immediately go into the next place of employment, and usually they're going to look for something like they've just come out of, where there needs to be a neutral zone where the person breathes and listens, and then begin to move into the new next, not an old new beginning.
So this is the same conversation we have with people in relationships. We say, when you end a relationship, don't just go and find a new replacement. You have to work through all of those emotions, all of those things that had you connected, because you've probably outgrown that person. Well, you've probably also outgrown the job that you've been in. But because you've saw it as a sense of security and stability, you're afraid to take the next step. You're afraid to do something different. And so the universe says, well, let me help you out.
Yeah. And so where we think, okay, because I have the stability and security, and we camp right there. But the universe may be saying to you, okay, here's a time for you to learn another lesson, or to revisit, how much do you trust that I have, or is your trust in the labor that you put in? So have you moved to, you truly are defining yourself by your position, versus now with this break, you get the opportunity to reset and recenter. And what we don't ask ourselves is, what did I learn from that experience?
Yes.
What did I give to that experience? And then when we prepare to go to the next, do we automatically go to the next looking on the linear progression of what your career path is? Or it may be, you may go into something totally new. And now we're being forced to look at something new, because many of the old positions are slowly dwindling away. So there's a new work world with new opportunities.
Yes, and that means we need new skills. But one of the other things that I think is very prominent for us, that many of us don't realize how dangerous it is to sit in jobs and resent being there. That resentment turns into a very self-defining illness in our bodies.
And guess what? It also promotes you'll be let go.
Right. You will be let go. Now,
so we have to ask ourselves, if I am let go from my job, did I see that? Did the university finally respond to a wish fulfilled? We stay in that job because it's our substance. I can't go anywhere because I'm 55, I'm 65. I can't start new. You can't. You can't, because you have just put that barrier there. For those who are spiritual, in the spiritual conversation, there is a scripture that says, behold, I make all things new. And so a new beginning can actually be new, meaning I'm doing something totally different. But what you'll find is, even if you do something different, everything you've done up to this point will actually play a part in what you do different. You bring along everything that you learned, but you have to be willing to employ it or deploy it in a different way. When we look at this whole conversation with AI is a beautiful thing, particularly if you can acclimate to what it takes away all the mundane things that a technology can do. But then there's a part of AI that only you can do. Behind every AI system is a human being.
Or two.
Right. Exactly. Or two. Right. It may not be a massive number of people, but those who are prepared to step into this new dimension of work, they will be valuable. You bring your skill set, and you're open to integrating the new technology. There's so much resistance going on right now in the workforce, and we're not keeping up with what's going on.
Yeah, and I think historically we've been people that, we're kind of like slow to the change, right? And it's more caution, and so that can show up as resistance. however, I think what you said earlier when you said trust, Oh, what Zelda, let me see, Zelda is saying resentment in the body usually shows up, yes, ma'am, as cancer. Yes, resentment is the acid that contributes to cancer. Yes, thank you for reminding us of the possibilities. Absolutely. And that is some of the things that we do with teach as well, because we have, like you said, everything that we need, but trust, if we're not trusting, and I hear people say they believe in God, but I don't see them trusting God. And sometimes, or trusting the universe, or trusting Allah or Buddha or whatever name you want to put on that source energy, it still is an energy that sustains us. And it literally sustains an earth that is spinning out in the universe with no strings. Right? So that's, I mean, think about that. If we can just see that we are really, just go for it, let go and allow things to evolve or unfold the way that they are. So trust is one of those things that keep us on the, or move us into the spiritual path more deeply.
And that's the kind inside of workforce development. I park right there for a season to say, okay, so you say you trust. So why are you anxious? You say you trust, but why are you now saying to me that you don't know how you're going to make it? So when there is a break in what has been consistent employment, consistent pay, now it's an opportunity for them to show the universe, to show God. Source knows, God knows, the universe knows where you at, but many times we don't know where we at. But if we pay attention to what we're saying in the time of change, it really tells us what we need to be working on first. To be still and to know that things are working out for us, even when they don't appear to be working out for us. Like many of our vendors, they asked, like this year, I was successful in getting or assisting 104 veterans found competitive employment. And many of these veterans had barriers that usually would not put them at the front of the line. But I don't worry about that. I just get them into conversation. Part of it is imaginative work. Can you see yourself working? What will it look like? Are you ready to change your life right now? Are you getting up early? Are you doing the things you need to do as if you're going to work? Because many times I find individuals say they desire something, but they are not operating in a position for that thing to come into their life.
Yes.
Yes. So that, we usually look at that like, okay, you get your resume together, you do you do mock interviews and all of those things. But there's another part of that. It's really the person to find out, where are they? Who are they becoming? How does the world of work fit into this conversation of transformation? And so work is part of our transformation. From the individual who first starts work just for survival purposes. Now, I give that. That's part of when we first started out. It's a way in which we are able to make ends meet. But then as you evolve through the world of work, you may move to now you are a supervisor. So inside of the world of the supervisor, what is how you deploying your skills, showing you about your spiritual walk? What are individuals saying about you? And if you listen to that, it's called like a 360 review of how people see you. It tells you this is part of the work you need to be doing. So work, really, we spend a lot of time in work.
Yes.
Or let me say this, we spend a lot of time at work, but we don't find ourselves in the work.
Oh, that's a good one. Absolutely. We're at work, but we're not in the work. Yeah. And then you know how else we cripple ourselves? Because we don't give 100%. We literally withhold ourselves, and then we think we're supposed to be acknowledged, appreciated, given attention and applause, but we actually do not give 100%. And I'm not talking about just at work. We don't give 100% at home. We don't give 100% to ourselves. So that's our spiritual path too. That's
Right.
our KPI. Our key performance indicators are, do you provide 100% of goodness and well-being to yourself?
Mhm. Now, when you look at being all in, a lot of times people are all in at the level they think they're being compensated. Example: I do what I do at work, not for the accolades that could potentially come. I don't chase accolades.
That's
I
right.
show up 100 because one, I start from the place of I'm going to give to this person what I would like to be given to me. And
Yes.
so it's not based on my job title. It's based on where I'm as a person. It's based on
Yes.
my spiritual path. So I give them 100%. Now, if I believe that what I'm giving to them has little or no value, I have that conversation. If I've given you my best and you're not moving, act on it, let's have a conversation. And if the reality is they're not ready for employment or they're not ready to move right now, then let's circle back and come back. But I'm not going to continue to pour into you when you don't have the capacity to contain what's being poured in. And so when we in this world of work, for those who are coaches, those who are really leading change, you have to come to the place where you don't keep pouring in to a container that's closed or filled. There comes a place where we have to say, okay, let's do this. Why don't you circle back when you're ready for this?
When you're ready. Yeah, it's like talking to yourself or pushing up against a brick wall. If you're not open to receive, no one can really pour into you.
Yeah. And you know it when they say, I just want a job.
Yeah.
So I hear fear. I hear you don't trust the universe because you're saying, I need a job right now because if I don't get this job right now, I'm not going to be able to take care of the things I need to take care of. So you close yourself off. So the job becomes our only source. When in reality, there's no such thing as a cash stream. It's a cash flow. When we open ourselves up to the universe, it comes in a myriad of ways. And it's not always what you work, but if you believe you have to work to get it, the things we say like you don't work, you don't eat, then you got to work and to eat. But if you realize that source provides your every need, and that does not mean I become lazy, but it means I'm a good steward of my time. I don't have to work hard to play hard.
Well, and it takes us back inside of the work that we need to do within ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what are some of those things? Now, I have several questions and I know that our time is getting close. But before I ask that question, I want to ask, you mentioned AI earlier. What are 3 things that you may be able to tell people that they can do to get a job or use AI for a job at this time if they're not working?
Oh, well, it's beautiful. So you can use AI to create your resume. I know there's individuals and sources out there, but it can do that for you. You can use AI to help you identify, based on my current resume, what career paths are available. Because sometimes if you've been out of the work world for a while, you don't know what other things are available. If you say you are a plumber, you're just looking for plumbing jobs, but maybe you can become a consultant in that area. So there's a lot of things that AI can open you up to. You can use AI I have shown my candidates how to use AI to conduct a mock interview. You can tell AI, I'm going for an interview tomorrow in this industry, and you maybe say what company it is. It may know much more about the company than you think, and then it will generate the questions, and it can ask you the questions. If you have the voice mode on, it'll ask you the questions, listen to your response, and at the end of that, it can evaluate your response. It can tell you what it observed, and then it can even give you some other ways you could have handled that question. So AI does for the individual who is seeking employment many things that you often would wait for someone to do for you. So you can just be creative with AI. Yeah.
Yeah. And when we talk about AI taking care of those mundane things, I tell my clients, you actually want to use this downtime to really check into yourself and see what have I been missing in my life that I would like to put back in. You know, one of my clients, he 65 years old, making good money, laid off, and he didn't know what to do. And he literally came in tears. And then he realized, oh, I love photography. And he went out and pulled out his cameras. And next thing you know, he's taking pictures for the high school and especially, and he loved it. A year later, he's like, this was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
So that's the conversation that you're talking about.
Yeah. The things, here's what I try to get individuals to see. Wherever you land, you're in the right place. Mm-hmm. If you can open yourself up, not to take judgments of yourself and say, I should have. But guess what? You didn't. And the reason why you didn't is because you need to be here, right here, in the place of nowhere. You know, but you are here. You are where you need to be. Now you need to be open to, what am I here to learn?
Yes.
What am I here to experience?
That's right. Naima is saying if a person has any level of expertise in the field, they can market themselves as a consultant and get paid. Absolutely. I mean, with AI, with the internet, with all of these different tools that we have, there is no reason that, and listen, I'm gonna tell you, I follow the young people. The young people are out here making millions of dollars streaming YouTube channels, Instagram channels, TikTok. And some people have the personality to do that. Well, go and do that. You can ask AI, you know, looking at my resume or based on what you know about me, what are some topics I can talk about on YouTube? And let it tell you.
Yes, and so we have, because it's such a new technology, we're dealing with the fear that is imposed by those who are latecomers to the conversation. They're still, you know, spewing fear, but then it's here. It's something you have to embrace, and then once you embrace it, you can say, how can I use this? Now, what I like about this is it's not about the money making, because a lot of people are making money right now, and that's going to kind of come to a close here really soon. But what you really want to use, the AI helps you step back into your authentic self. It can do a review of your life. It can take your resume and review your resume. It can, even if you've been using it for, like I've been using AI, a particular one of the large language models that I use most frequently is ChatGPT. And I have the paid model. And the reason why I have the paid model, because at times I can ask it, over the last 6 months, what has been the trend in my activity? And it tells me things that I maybe not even paying attention to. It will tell me what I will ask it, tell me what you know about me. And it reflects back to me what I have expressed out there. And if it's reflecting back to me something that I really don't want to be, then I go to work on it.
That's exactly right.
We can use it in a myriad of ways. But here's one of the things I would like our audience to know this morning, that AI is not going to take anybody's job.
No.
Okay. Those individuals who remain on the job will be the ones who have the level of expertise, and they have acclimated AI into their conversation, their work conversation. You'll be kept, because as the employer begins to integrate AI into their platforms, those who don't know how to use it, refuse to use it, will be the ones let go. If you are doing anything in customer service, you need to become familiar, because ultimately 20 will be let go and 1 will be left to control the bot. You be the one that controls the bot or the agent. So we have to be present. You can ask AI, how do I stay current in my field? How is AI impacting my field? How can I incorporate AI into what I do? And you'd be surprised.
Well, you know, thank you so much, Ausar. And tell us what's next. Tell us what we can look for from you, and how can we engage with you?
Well, you can easily reach me at www.solutions, like SOUL, solutionsforliving.com. If you go out there and poke around, you'll see all the lanes that I run in. I'm teaching AI. I have an AI literacy consulting business. So that helps the mother learn how to use AI to help her child to master school or whatever. So that's one lane I'm in. Spiritually, I have a Serendipity Sunday where every Sunday I have a spiritual conversation that I lead. And then I have the career path. So if you want to find out more about me, just simply go to solutionsforliving.com. I'm in the process of completing a book, and this book that I'm writing has to do with the world of work. And it's about reclaiming the soul work in uncertain times. And so but I'm writing this book more for coaches, professionals, individuals who are leading people through this strange time. It's a primer on soul-centered work and the evolution of vocation. And so that's where I'm at right now. So I do some coaching on the individual level, but most of what I'm doing is large group things, helping move this ball down the road as it pertains to our spiritual development, as it pertains to if you're in the world of work, how you can maximize that. So
wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and your patience through the technical difficulties.
No, your patience. Yeah,
well,
so,
things happen. We do know that. So
here's a lesson in that. When things show up, don't get discombobulated. Stay with it. And know that all things are in divine order. I've learned some things this morning. And I'm sure the individuals on the other side of the camera have learned some things. And so it's a learning moment. You've got to be teachable. You got to stay, as one of my spiritual leaders, Ernest Holmes, would say, you got to be open at the top. You got to be open to receive and not just to give. So I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to your listening audience this morning. And I just encourage everyone to sit inside of this. Things are working out for you. Even when they don't appear to be working out for you, things are working out for you.
I remember that was an affirmation you gave me years ago. Things are always working out for me.
And sometimes I have to say that to myself.
I still do. I think I have had some things. I have it on my bathroom mirror.
Okay. Good. I've had some things that I will share at some point. I'm in the midst of some things, and I'm seeing the movement. Because I always say sometimes I'm overwhelmed, and I will say I'll take a breath.
Yes.
A holy breath, a holy breath, a whole breath. And then I'll simply say to myself, things are working out for me.
Yes.
Even when they don't appear to be working out for me, things are working out for me. And I'll pick it up and keep moving. Yes. It's good to see your lovely face as usual.
You too, Ausar. Yeah. You know what I was thinking the other day when I was preparing for the show? All these years we've known each other. We both love to step. And we've never did that before.
Never. We said we would, but we're going to make that happen. The holiday season is coming up. We celebrate the same birthday. So if I'm in town, I may be in Chicago for the 2nd of January.
Well, I'm not in Chicago. I'm in Detroit now. So but you let me know and maybe I'll get there. Yeah.
All right. Maybe I'll come to Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, Vieta says, thanks, Gregory, for bringing this information for all of us to embrace AI for our benefit. Yes. Indeed. Yes. And you know what, Ausar? I'm going to actually enroll you and some of the other coaches that are now job coaches. We can do a free seminar for people, a workshop.
Let's do that. Let's
do that. And we can do a number of things because I would like to also tell people, a few steps to just start their own business because it's time for us to build.
Yes, and there's enough for everyone, and that's the one thing I like about Master Force. Master Force, one of the things that was a big challenge for me is we don't deliver service. We don't trade time for money, and so I'm in the position I love my good government job. I get good pay for what I deliver, but it frees me up to do other things because there's some people that the universe says needs my service, but couldn't potentially pay for my service.
That's right.
So I don't have to worry about how I'm gonna get paid. Now, there are some who can pay and will pay.
That's right.
Okay, that's how you have to look at that. So just have to discern, but master force the whole principle. I think it would be within our mission for us to begin to deliver some of this conversation, because everybody is charging everything, but there's some things we can share with people that will change their lives. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you, all of you that joined us this week. And we'll be back next week with some amazing topics. And I really appreciate your patience this morning, too. And Ausar, you have a great day.
Yeah. Count it to my head and not my heart that we had a false start, but everything happened. Okay.
All right.
Peace.
Women have the power to transform. We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.